It's Lori. Late Night Lori from Lori's Little Bit of Crafting. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator coming to you from Wisconsin in the U.S. And we're going to pretend that it's Friday, March 27th at 11:59 p.m. I'm a few minutes late. Time gets away from me, and it just happens. Let me get my devices set up. We'll see who's joining me. And hopefully I'll have sound. Yes, I have sound. Wonderful. See if I can get this caught up. Sometimes my iPad is a little behind, so give me just a minute here. And we'll get going. So while we wait for people to kind of join me, I will go over a couple of my standard announcements. And let's see, let's zoom in just a little bit. I can get rid of that. So if you want to see all of the new products that are coming in, any promotions, sales, catalogs, all of the things, or if you want to shop with me, you can find me at latenightlory.stampinup.net. And I am running a little special right now because on March 19th, I celebrated 9 years as a demonstrator with Stampin' Up! So we're doing a little backwards math, and I'm calling it Stampiversary Subtraction. So if you place a minimum $24 order with me by April 19th, I'm going to let it run for about a month. I will gift you $9 in Stampin' Rewards. Those are good for a future purchase. You have to use them within 90 days. But you will end up paying just $19 plus your tax and shipping. But that's to celebrate for my 9 years on March 19th. So if you want to take advantage of that, you can go to latenightlory.stampinup.net. And a couple of things we've got going on. Hello, Rosa. Welcome. So I got my virtual album retreat. Was that yesterday or the day before? I lose track of time. So if you want to see all of the goodies that are in the virtual album retreat, check out my video from last night or the night before. But there is a whole lot in it. We are going to have basically 3 days of master classes with Stampin' Up! They're going to be full days, all right? We will be making 10 two-page spreads for memory keeping. We have the little snapshots of what they're going to look like, and I went over all of the things that are in the retreat box that arrived. So there was like, I don't know, around 15 pieces of designer series paper. It's one-sided. There's cardstock that if you flip it over, the back side has the cutting instructions and what project it belongs to. There are cutout pieces, there's stickers, there's ephemera, there's 2 stamp sets technically that are indeed 4 packages. So I think I added up to be like 109 stamps or 119 stamps. It's over 100 stamps that we get. There are photo placeholders, there's flip-flaps, there's embellishments, there's twine, there's page protectors, enough for all of the pages. And the Golden Glow Glimmer Brush arrived. And it's every bit as awesome as I remember it from Onstage. We got to use the Hydrangea Hue one when I was at Onstage. And we get the white gel pens. Now, these are 2 new products that Stampin' Up! Is going to be carrying. My kit actually came with 2 of the gel pens. I don't know if that was an accidental bonus or if everybody's getting 2. I don't know, but they're sold in 2-packs, so maybe they just decided to throw in the 2-packs. I don't know, but I thought it was a really good deal. So if you are local to me and you're purchasing this, first off, I will gift you a journaling pen. These pens are super nice. I will gift you one of these, and we will have a watch party. So if you're planning on coming, let me know so that I can plan accordingly. But that's going to be April 29th, 30th, and then May 1st. It'll be in Central Time. It'll be from 3 to 10 p.m.-ish. And the first day, I believe the plan is to make 4 2-page spreads. The second and third days will be 3 2-page spreads. And that Saturday, right after the retreat, I think is like National Scrapbooking Day or something. I don't know. Rosa, are you a scrapbooker at all? I don't remember. Take a look at our March online exclusives. There's a lot of fun stuff out there available to play with. I'm trying to get a little bit more light in here. All right, so that stuff's all available online. You're not a scrapbooker. Okay, well, a lot of these designs you could certainly carry over into cards, but that would be a big investment if you're not at all interested in memory keeping. I wasn't much into it, but when I did the retreat last year, there was so much I didn't realize that you could do making memory books or scrapbooking, whatever you want to call it. I'm kind of hooked right now. So December, don't let it be intimidating. In fact, if you think it's intimidating, you should probably do one of these retreats, because the Stampin' Up! People, whether it's a concept artist or Sarah Douglas, the CEO, or a product designer, they come in and walk us through step by step how maybe they came up with the page, what their vision was, what their interpretation was. They show us the techniques. We work along, or if you just want to watch, then you have access to the videos afterwards, and you can watch them at your leisure. So you can stop and start and pause and rewind and whatever. I am still going through some of the layouts with one of the gals on my team that couldn't do it live last year when we did it. She purchased it, couldn't do it, so we've been trying to get together, not quite every month, but several times, and we're almost through making them all for her. I did most of mine so that I would have an idea, but we're just walking through the videos and watching them together and redoing it. So it's really fun. Don't let it be intimidating. So in December, Stampin' Up! Started this Product of the Month program, where if you have an interesting, if you have a qualifying order, I was reading you're interesting but not into scrapbooking, which is fine. It's not everybody's cup of tea. I get it. I shouldn't read and try to talk at the same time. So, Product of the Month. If you have a qualifying order, which in the United States is $75 before tax and shipping, but after any Stampin' Rewards or other discounts you have. Hello, Suzanne. You can add the Product of the Month to your cart for just $5. You are limited to one forever of whatever the product is. So this was the current month. So the March Product of the Month was a stamp set. We made this cute little card, I don't know, sometime in the last week or so. And next month, they've already given us a sneak peek as to what it's going to be. And this is going to be a die. And from the appearances, based on this label, I had it out the other day, but I put it away. The label in real life is bigger, which means this die is going to be even bigger. So I'm thinking it's going to be pretty close to card front size, and that's going to be just $5. So you'll want to pay attention, because I'm thinking this one may sell out quickly. And I think that brings me to the end of my announcements. Although we are going to be doing another Where in the World is Late Night Lori? So tomorrow night, I don't know when or if, I'll be going live because we will be traveling, and I'll keep you posted. I'm not sure what my giveaway will be this time, but we'll see. Hopefully it'll be worth playing along again. It was so much fun last time. So today I thought we would do something a little different. The last couple of nights I think we did treat holders. Suzanne did a cute little card holder, card portfolio, basically, on her live tonight. She's going live a few times a week, I guess, at 8 p.m. Central Time. Her YouTube page is Love in Pieces. You can kind of see her in the comments. So she made a cute little portfolio for cards, which I've done something similar in the past. It's a fun idea. It's quick and easy, and they're just so cute. So give her a look as well. I decided to pull out an old sticky note holder that I have. I have a template somewhere, but don't ask me where it is. So we're going to recreate the wheel, but it'll be fine. This is one that I made from several years ago. We had some paper pumpkin elements that I thought were so cute. And we did, oh, that's a little pencil pocket there. I did these with some of my gals, and we just made a little stand-up Post-it note holder. So the back side could have a pocket. I decided not to put a pocket on this one in case you wanted to put like a gift card or something in it. Oh, well, I'm glad Suzanne appreciates that. The more the merrier, right? So the one that we do today, I will probably try to make the pocket. We'll see. We'll see how far we get. But we're going to use these Easter sticky note pads that I have. And I thought that I was going to have to modify my design a little bit because, and I'll pull out this Christmas one that I was using as a template. So here's all my little pieces. Well, some of my little pieces. So there's the Christmas cookie cutter, one of my favorites. I still love it. So because this was done with a 12-inch piece of cardstock, I thought I was going to have to modify my design. So we've got 12 by 5 3/4. Okay. So I thought what I would have to do is maybe go to 11 and then piece on another, add on another piece from my little easel. But then I looked at some of my designer series paper for Easter, and these that I used for our treat holders from last night, these are heavier paper. This is the Easter Joy Specialty Designer Series paper. So I thought maybe we could use this. And then maybe we'll just tone it down with maybe some cardstock. We'll see. We'll see. Because the back sides, well, we could do something like that. So let me first get a piece that is 12 by 5 3/4, I think I said, right? It's a disaster here. I'm trying to get some crafting things together for while I travel. Been trying to pack. I did not use my time very well today. So 12 by 5 3/4. Let me get my trimmer. Make sure this is a full sheet. 12 by, and I thought this egg one would be cute maybe with this one. It would probably work with any of them, but I thought that one would be particularly cute. So 5 3/4. And then I had a little piece where we did some fussy cutting, so that was fortuitous. All right, and then let's take a look. I'm just going to move some of these pieces kind of out of the way. Along with my sample, I'm going to get that out of the way too. All right, so we need to score this. Let me get it posted. Or another sticky note. I have to probably be careful with the name brand stuff. All right, so we are going to score it. So we need 5 3/4 by 12 inches. And then on the long side, score at, we've got 2 inches, 2.5 inches, 6 inches, 9.5 inches, 10.5 inches, and 11.5 inches. And then on the short side, short side, score at 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 4 3/4, and 5 1/4. So take a snapshot of that if you want. You can zoom in on it. All right, so the first ones, I'm gonna go ahead and let's open up the arm on here. We are going to try to contain the mess. That's what we're going to try to do. How was everybody's Friday? Welcome to the weekend, by the way. All right, so we are going to score at 2 inches and at 2.5 inches, at 6 inches, 9.5, 10.5, and 11.5. And then here we're going to score. So this is really interesting because there's foil all the way behind here. So I have I can see the foil underneath the color here. All right, so there we go. Now we're going to score at 1/2 inch. And I want to make sure, you can't see the bottom of my trimmer, but I want to make sure that I'm on that guideline all the way down because I don't want it to go crooked. So I'm going to score it at 1/2 inch. And I'm going to score it at 1 inch. Now, if you have a directional pattern, like if you're doing it with a heavy designer series paper, just play with it before you do a lot of scoring and cutting so that you're sure that your designs are going to turn out how you want them to. All right. And then we're going to go to 4 3/4. We could also just flip this 180 degrees and then 5 1/4 and just score it in a 1/2 inch and 1 inch. Okay. So let's go ahead and kind of force our score lines here just a little bit because we're going to trim some of this out of here. And some of them we're actually going to go the opposite way, but that's all right. So Allie, you got 2 packs. Oh, hi, Allie. Welcome. I was just kind of looking at the comments. I wasn't looking at the names. Yeah, the Easter paper is really fun. I'm pretty close to being done with all of mine as well. So we're making a sticky note holder. And I'm using a template that I had from several years ago when we used to have the cookie cutter Christmas set. And I used a paper pumpkin, some elements. So this has been a few years. I don't remember how long ago that paper pumpkin was. Yeah, I don't remember. I'm kind of looking through my stash because that was one that I kind of hung on to because it was cute. The elements were pretty cute. All right, so now let's bring back in our little template here. And we're gonna go, let me move up a little bit though. So this is the bottom where we've got these 1/2 inch and 1 inch score lines. Yeah, you can get a lot of cards out of these if you want to. All right, so there's that. And then this score line is going to come this way. Hopefully I'm doing this right. No, I'm not. I'm doing it backwards because I want whatever color you want to show you want away from you. All right, so let's try this again. I think I need it to go this way, this way. Oh, Lori. Okay. Up. This one goes down. This one goes this way and this way. Whew. That was a little bit of a struggle. Is that what I want? Yes, because I want more of the Easter eggs to show. Okay. So this is kind of how it will look. Just play with it. You can always refold it like I did. And I'm going to go ahead and get my bone folder and I'm going to just kind of bulk burnish a few of these score lines. And these both get scored in the same, or folded in the same direction because that's where we're making our Post-it note pocket. All right, so now let's come back here and know that we are going to snip at 1 inch. So this first part here, we are going to just snip on that fold line. If I can get my scissors to settle down. Right up there. Okay. And now, this next fold, hopefully you can see this. So where we've got the base of our pocket, we want to snip again because we're going to make a tab. And we're going to cut part of that off. It doesn't have to be exact. You can cut at the score line or you can cut a little in to make your tab a little smaller. And then I'm going to miter these because I don't want to have the competition for the edge when we get them stuck together. Does that make sense? I don't want the layers to be fighting over each other as to who's gonna win in causing chaos. All right, so there we are for the top part of it. Okay, so now here we're going to go ahead and we're just going to trim off that whole section that we scored. All right, so you're going to take 1 inch off from below your tabs. So leave your tabs intact And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in here. I'm going to line up at the top and the bottom where my inch is. And I am just going to cut up to basically 2.5 inches. And I was a little conservative. I didn't want to cut too far because I can't see from my angle. Okay. I was close. Okay. This you can do with what you want. I'm just gonna get rid of it because it's scored and all bendy. All right. And then this one we're gonna do the same thing. I'm just gonna turn it over because I have an easier time lining things up there. So there's my 1 inch there, 1 inch there. We'll make sure that it's straight. And I felt that one that time. There we go. All right, you can keep this and do whatever you want with it. I'm just not going to. Don't judge me. All right, and I'm going to get this out of the way for right now. So now we're going to put some tear and tape on these. So you can see where I've got tear and tape on these 2 little tabs. So we're going to recreate that. And I'm going to go ahead and cut it. Normally I just tear them, but I'm going to cut it this time, maybe. I did these for a class quite a long time ago. And I kind of prepped the whole base as far as cutting and everything because I didn't want it to get messed up. Because I was doing it with a lot of people who were, I knew they wouldn't do well with having to score and cut and miter and pay attention to not doing it backwards like I almost did. So now I'm going to flip this around and we're going to put tear and tape here on both of those edges. And again, I'm just going to be kind of neat today and use my scissors. Partially because I just want to have good coverage. This is a... What size is the paper pad? I think they're 3x3 standard. Yeah, it's 3x3. They're just kind of the standard sticky note size. All right, so normally, Allie, you weren't here when I first started, I don't think, but I normally would do cardstock. You know, my previous samples were with cardstock. The two-tone cardstock that we're currently carrying isn't as thick. So I don't want to trust it to make this kind of project. So what I was going to do is just take regular cardstock and then add a piece to make my little easel piece. But then when I got this paper, I was using it last night and I thought, this is heavy enough that this will work for this project. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to add a piece of, I wonder if I still have this scored backwards. I might be doing this backwards. We'll see. Because this should be this way. Oh, for goodness sakes. Nope, this is right. All right, here we go. Here's what you see. Try to do it this way. Not what I may have spoken. All right, and here we're going to add tear and tape. If you're just using basic cardstock, it's not going to matter what size is up. Because I'm using this colored, patterned designer series paper, I'm kind of messing myself up, so I apologize. All right, so this is going to be super quick with any luck. All right, so we're going to make, no, I did it backwards, but that's all right. It'll still be cute. It might actually be cuter this way. I think it'll be cuter this way because then these eggs will show. So what we can do is, if you don't like this basket weave design, because this is going to come like this. I kind of hid all the eggs after all, but that's all right. Maybe I'll make another one and I'll try to do it the right way. Nicole, welcome. That's all right. I'm going to try to do it correctly the next time because I'll probably make a second one while we're here because the night is young. I did not get your email with your mailing address if you want those hummingbirds. I checked my email today, so I don't know what email you may have sent it to. I checked my spam. It wasn't there either. But there's my email address if you want to email me. All right, so I'm going to go ahead. Oh, for goodness sakes, Lori. Oh, no, that's right. Phew. When I put this together, you can kind of see where these tabs, I just by habit, put them inside, kind of like we're creating a box. That's not what I want to do. I want to tuck them behind here so that there's no seam on the inside when we go to put in our sticky note. I don't want there to be anything for it to catch on. All right. Before I do this though, on this one, you might be able to see I put, yes, you're right. The notepad is going to hold that basket weave. So it turned out fine. All right. So I put a little pocket in here so that my pen wouldn't fall over. Pen or pencil. I had some really cute little stubby pens from the $1.75 store. I got them when they were $1.25 store. But anyway, those are really cute in here for something like a teacher gift. If you have young children that want to give teacher gifts. So I am going to pull in my template pieces here. So this is to make a pocket for the back, if we want a pocket for the back. And I think for this one, we probably do. We're going to make a little pocket for the back so that we've got the Easter eggs on the back as well. So this is going to be our template for the pocket on the back. And then this is our little template for the pen holder. At least I kept all of my pieces, even if I didn't keep my written instructions. Sorry, I needed some water. All right, so this piece is 1.5 by 1 7/8, it looks like. And we're gonna do that. I think I'm just gonna do it in crumb cake because it's gonna match the inside. All right, so let's get the trimmer out for this. And these are the dimensions for the sticky note holder. Hey, Yuda. All right, so let's just see where this is. So this is, it's just under 1.5. And that's 2 and... we're going to say 2 7/8 should work. So let's do 1 7/8. And then we're going to do, I'm just going to do 1.5 because it looks like I've got it scored on the 1/2 inch. So let's score it at a 1/2 inch, score it at a 1/2 inch, and cut it at about 1.5 inches. And I'm losing my little foot. All right. So let's go ahead and if I put these on here, I'm just going to dry fit this and make sure that it works. It does. Okay. So you could make it like, you could make it into a whole box, but that seemed kind of silly to me because we're just going to put this here and we're going to close this up and we're going to stick this on too. Okay. If I move up, you'll get it. So we're going to go ahead and put tear and tape on both of those outer edges. And this doesn't have to be quite as particular as far as how far our adhesive goes. It'll be fine. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put this one right in here. Like not exactly to the edge, but kind of to the edge. And now I'm going to take my my tear and tape backing off of my tabs. And then we're going to take our tear and tape off of here. This is going to get wrapped around the back, but we have to kind of fight with that pen holder. Just know that you'll have to make it comply, all right? Because you want to make sure that it's kind of lined up. So let's push our tabs all the way in. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do this one first. So I'm just going to line it up to where that fold is and press, and then we'll wrap this around the back. Now I suppose we could have mitered this a little bit too, and it didn't. It's not quite square, but that's all right. Nobody's going to care, right? I'm usually a little more particular than that, but it is what it is. And then I'm just going to take a pen, not with the ink out, but I'm just going to take a pen so that I can press that tear and tape down so it's in there, okay? And then this side, I feel so uncoordinated. I'm going to be a little more careful to make sure that I've got it squared up. That's how it should look, all right? And then again, I can put in my bone folder, or I can just put this pen in here because it fits pretty well. All right, so we're cooking with gas. There we go. And let's get our little bunny guy here. And you'll see where we're going. So see how cute that is so far? All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to fold this up. We can take the backing off of here. And if we just fold this right against there, it should be all lined up nice and pretty. Okay, now again, if you want to fold this up and use your bone folder to just make sure you've got a good adhesion, or you can even unfold that so it's even flatter. But you're going to have it like so. Okay. Ta-da. All right, so this is going to go here. Our pen could go here. And now let's make that pocket for the back. All right. So if we want a gift card, or if we want to put a little greeting in there, you know, a little card that's got the greeting, we are going to do that. Here's my other template. I don't want to lose that. So now we need a piece of, I'm going to use the same cardstock on the back. Well, designer series paper, sorry. And we're going to do this at 2 1/4 by 4 1/2. Do I have 2 1/4 left? Ooh, I do. Exactly 2 1/4. And what did I say? Measure twice, cut once. 2 1/4 by 4 1/2. All right, and then we're going to score at a 1/2 inch on 3 sides. So 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch. Now, this one you can see I just kind of mitered those edges. I'm going to do it a little different this time. In fact, should we? I'm just going to cut it this way. If you were basically to make this imaginary line there, I'm just going to cut it like this and make it as straight as I can so that I'm kind of going perpendicular to the score lines, if that makes sense. You can do you, but I'm going to try to make it a little nicer here because that way my edges kind of line up. They lined up pretty good on this side, not as great on this side. All right, so I'm just going to trim just a little bit off of here. That's going to get tucked away anyway. Nobody will see. All right, so there's that. So now what we want to do is put our tear and tape on these edges. Where'd it go? And we're going to go ahead and use scissors because it's a diagonal. All right, and I'm definitely going to burnish this tear and tape on here because of the texture of the paper. I want to make sure that it sticks pretty good. So Suzanne, you also are called Jess. But I guess only Juju can call you that. I don't know. All right, so let's go ahead and fold these in. What I want to do, I think, is I'm going to put this, I'm just going to hold this in a little bit, and I'm going to line it up this way. And I want to just have a little bit of a border, and I'm going to let that fold piece fall onto the paper. All right. Hopefully that made sense. And then these, I can just press that against there. And I'm actually kind of looking for a little gap here intentionally so that when I put a card in here, it goes in and out pretty easily. Okay. Not this card, it just happened to be there. All right. So here's our bunny sticky notes. Here's a little pen. And of course, the little pens from the Buck and 3/4 store would be much cuter, but mine are gone. I think I did them all in school gifts for my granddaughter. So pretty easy, right? Pretty easy. And I don't know, maybe we should just make, should we make that plain or should we make it bright? Maybe we should just make it bright. What if we took a Post-it note and carefully put some adhesive on it. And these are not the name brand sticky notes. So once you unpeel them, they don't like to stick very well. And I'm going to put this right on here. And I'm going to cut off the excess. Yeah, I heard some of that from Juju that she had your name wrong. And I think I had even been on a couple of times when she called you Stuff, and I'm like, who's Stuff? I didn't say anything, but I didn't know who it was. It's hard to keep up sometimes. So I figured it was just me. And this is not, see how it doesn't, once you unstick these no-name brand ones, they don't like to stick very well. Come on, there we go. There. That's better. So there's our little note for the back. And this is where you could put your little sentiment. We could even stamp something on there. How about just for you? Just because it happens to be here. And let's get some Secret C. That'll be our go-to. Or maybe pecan pie. Secret C. Maybe pecan pie. It might not be very cute, but no, that's fine. Yeah, this is back from, if you've been doing Stampin' Up! For a while, remember the Cookie Cutter Christmas? This was a project that I did with, basically for a class with the Cookie Cutter Christmas. And then we had a paper pumpkin kit that had these cute little elements. So I turned it into a pumpkin one. And I couldn't find my paper template that had all of my instructions on it. So luckily I had this one that was like my visual aid sample that I found. So, all right, don't want to lose that because that's part of my template stuff. That's actually for this one. Yes. There we go. All right. And then obviously you want to put something like that. But we could put a little Easter bunny on here. We could put some little grass. Because there's grass on here. I always have really good intentions of making the calendar holders. I've even gone so far as to get the calendars, and then I usually end up partway through the year and I still have the calendars because I never did the calendar stands. So I think we'll just do one thing of grass here, and I think I'll do Shy Shamrock because that's probably, I could probably do Granny Apple Green. Let me grab a couple of these. Let's see. I don't know if I like grass in that color. This is probably closer to, maybe we'll just do it without grass. Oh, that would be cute too. Did you see that? What if we just have our bunny sticking up here? How cute would that be? We could glue them to the inside of here. Oh, I think I'm going to do that. And we're just not going to do grass. Right, like he's popping out. We'll put it so his hands are just above the edge. I could have cut his hands, I suppose, but then that would be more for this to get stuck on. We could put the grass behind here, but then our sticky notes will probably get stuck on it. We'll leave well enough alone, I think. And wouldn't that make just like a fun little teacher gift or something? I think so. All right, so there's our little sticky note holder. Here are, Nicole, did you get this? Did you email me or no? You just resent it. Okay. I will check. Let's see if I have it quick. Oh, thank you for the hearts. Okay, Nicole, I have it this time. Awesome. All right. So zoom in on this if you want the measurements. Let me write down the measurements for the little pencil. What do we want to call that? The pencil holder? The pencil. So I have this added little piece in there so the pen won't fall over. Yeah, I had small pens from the $1.25 store, the dollar store, the $1.75 store. And they were literally, they were the perfect size for these. And they, you know, they have those in all the different holiday designs, right? All right. So if you were to do this in plain cardstock, Stampin' Up! Doesn't have the 12 by 12 cardstock in the old stuff. It's the new two-tone cardstock. And I just don't feel like that's going to be stiff enough. Let me grab some. See, this is a two-tone cardstock, and while it's awesome, I'm just afraid, should I try to make one out of this and just see how it works? Because otherwise what you would have to do is just go to your 11 inches and then get another piece that's 1.5 inches and piece them together. Because our cardstock is normally just 11 inches. All right, so you gals can figure that out. And then just remember when we're doing these tabs on the inside, you know, the tabs to make our pocket, we're wrapping those to the outside of our pocket so that the sticky note pad doesn't get stuck in there. Okay. I'm going to get a piece of this and just see how it would work. Shall we? All right. Let me finish one thought at a time though. See that my head gets way ahead of me. All right, so we've got, so for a back pocket, we need a piece that is, we'll go this way, 4.5 by 2.25. And then score at 1/2 inch on 3 sides. Adhere to the back. All right. And then I'm going to call this the pen pocket. And that was 1.5 inches by 1 7/8, I think is what we decided. Oh, good night, Allie. Thanks for popping in. So you were in Dallas yesterday and stayed with your brother. That was nice. Thanks for crafting with us, Allie. All right, so 1 7/8, and then on the short side, score at a 1/2 inch and 1 inch. Okay, so I'm gonna go get a piece of two-sided cardstock that's big enough. I think that'll work with one of these. All right, so let's start again. So we need 5 3/4, and I'm gonna have to be a little more careful when I do my scoring. So 5 3/4, we're gonna go ahead and score it a 1/2 inch and 1 inch. And then I'm just gonna flip it over and do 1/2 inch, because I like working on the right side of the track when I can. Yuta, you're out of here too. Have a good night. Enjoy your weekend. And then on our long side, we're going to go ahead and score at 2 inches. Two and a 1/2 inches. 6 inches, I think. Yep, 6 inches. 9 1/2, 10 1/2, and 11 1/2. 9 1/2, 10 1/2, and 11 1/2. All right, and then since we're here, let's do 4 1/2 by 2 1/4. Let's do our 2 1/4. And 4 1/2. And we're going to score a 1/2 inch on 3 sides. And then I'm going to cut these corners off to miter them. I'm just kind of eyeballing it to see if they're pretty close. All right, and then we need a little pencil pouch, so that we need 1 1/2 by 1 7/8. And then we're going to score at a 1/2 inch and 1 inch. Okay, and we'll cut some cardstock in a minute. Let's go ahead and put some tear and tape on these pieces here. Hello from Germany. Welcome. So I take it you speak English, or you've translated. And what is your first name? And where in Germany are you from? And what time is it by you? Welcome. We're making a little sticky note holder. Thanks for joining us. We're on our second one. So if you're just coming in, this was our first one. I don't have any short pens, but it would be designed for a little short pen. And there's a little pocket on the back for a little note. And this is from a design I did a number of years ago when we had a cookie cutter Christmas and a paper pumpkin kit that I did these with. All right. And I think I'm going to add another piece of tear and tape there. Just because I didn't realize I didn't go to the edge with that. All right. And then for a little pencil pocket, we'll put on in each of those sides. All right, now we are going to start here. So we've got, if we fold it in half, on the side where we've got the 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch, we want to go to the other end. So we want the end where we've got the 2 inches and then that 1/2 inch. We're going to go ahead and snip in to the second score line, and we're going to cut off part of that tab, and we're going to do the same thing on this side. It's actually a little bit easier to make when you're using solid cardstock, because then you don't have to worry about what side is going to show, like we discovered. I'm going to go ahead and miter these. And if anybody doesn't want to hang around for this repeat edition, let me know. I just wanted to see if it would work with the two-tone cardstock. All right. So this is going to become our front pocket. All right. So we're actually going to fold this one back, this one forward, and then back and forward. All right. So at this point, we're going to cut off this side and this side to that 1 inch mark. So let me get my trimmer back out here. All right. Simple, simple. We're going to go ahead and put tear and tape here. And on our tabs. And then as we put this together here, we're going to put tear and tape on the back side. So if you're using the two-tone cardstock, just decide which one you want to be more visible. But I think the two-tone cardstock is going to be sturdy enough. It feels like it's doing pretty good. All right, so before I do that, before I stick these all together, we're going to decide what kind of, I should have looked at that before. If we just want to do, I need to find what kind of pattern paper we want to put on here, because we'll put a layer of pattern paper here and here. Not necessarily on this side, but we could. So if you take a look at the original sample that I had, we added designer series paper there. So let's see. I don't like that green. I should have decided on paper before. I should have decided on the designer series paper before I chose my other piece. So I think maybe we could do something kind of whimsical. That might work with, where did it go? This one. Let's see. I should have planned ahead. Something floral would have been wise. Something with mossy meadow would work. I just keep grabbing stuff. No. Well, I'm going to put this together and I will decide later what designer series paper I think I'm going to put on here. All right, so we're going to take these little tabs off just so you can all see how it went together, and you can see that it holds that sticky note pad or not. And we're going to take these off. Before we stick anything together, we're going to take our pencil pocket and we're going to lay it here. And then we'll get that pencil pocket ready on this side. And as we bring that tab up and wrap this around to the back, we want on the back side, I'm going to push that pencil pocket in there. And this time I was much better at getting my corner lined up. And I will bring in the pen to help push that pocket so that it sticks really well. Okay, and now we can push that tab in and line that side up. Oops. All right, so now I actually folded those backwards, I think. Did I? I did it backwards. So this tear and tape I put on the wrong side. So I'm just going to peel it off. I could try to reuse it, but I'm not going to. I'm not quite sure how I did that with my template. All right. I wonder if I did have it on the right side. Did I just mess myself up? No, I did. It was on the right side, I think. It's going back on here where whatever side I had it on. This is the side I want it on. That's what happens when it gets to be 1:15 a.m. Come on. All right, so what I'm going to do this time, I'm going to lay this flat. I'm going to fold it. So we've got the 1/2 inch, 1.5 inch, 2.5 inch. And then I can just press this straight down on it. The last time what I did is I had this all accordion folded and I tried to press it down. Okay. So this is going to hold our little thing. It's probably not quite as stable as this designer series paper or as regular cardstock would be. But let's go ahead and put this pocket on the back. And I'm going to do the same thing here that I did last time. I kind of held that in place, lined it up, and then got it to stick, and then fold it in the flaps. And I want there to be kind of a bowed gap so that when I put my little greeting card in there, my little note card or whatever, it goes in and out pretty easy. So now that we put that pocket on, it's a little bit better, but I think this cardstock is pretty lightweight so that it's gonna tip over a little easier. Maybe if you have your short pen in there, it'll work all right. So I guess my recommendation would be the heavier designer series paper or regular cardstock. This is regular cardstock, but then you have to piece it because we don't have the 12 by 12 anymore. But it's actually, it's doing all right, I think. Where did my flowers go? So what I did with this one is I took one of the post-it or the sticky notes off and I put it on a piece of cardstock so that it could go in and out pretty well. We could probably have dressed that up a little bit more, but we can put a bunch of little flowers on here even. Thanks, Nicole. If I find some designer series paper I like, I will add it. But these flowers kind of go with that. There's actually a stamp set that's very similar to that. Let me, do I have that? I think I just filed it away yesterday. Here, at that. I bought these sticky notes, oh man, last year or the year before even. I've had them for a while. How coincidental that we have that. So I think what I'll do is, we've got these little elements too. This might be fun to just put something like that on there. That way it wouldn't be seasonal, and they could put it for whatever season they want. That might be kind of fun. I might do this. Let's see if I can get these pieces out. This might be kind of fun to use this. That might be fun. I could do a little ink blending on there and add a little bit of color. I'll give it a whirl. I don't think I like both of them on there. But this one, I don't know. I think this one looks better. I'll add a little ink blending on there and add it to the front. And then I'll add a note card on the back. Or we could put that one in the front. I don't know. Of course, there's a couple of tulips on here too. And I do have these tulips from the tulip one. So many choices. We're going to count this as our finished one for tonight. And I think I want to put some scallop on here. I'm going to put some, I think I'm going to put some scallop pieces on there just to make it look a little more finished. I'll post pictures of this eventually, but I'm going to call it a night. Unless you guys want to hang around while I try to brainstorm this a little bit. Let me get a couple of pieces cut out in white. And then make sure that you stay tuned over the next many days for the next installment of Where in the World is Late Night Lori? And I don't know what my little gift will be this time. For participation, we'll see. We will see. Let's get my mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine here. We're going to do a few little scallops. There it was. I have another Easter bunny, but I hesitate to put the Easter bunny down on that flower one just because then it kind of limits it to Easter. Oops. let's take this out for just a second here. And I'm going to trim this so that it's straight because it's actually a little bit of a bowed design. In case anybody wants to do a quick screenshot of that for the measurements. Hopefully these will be close enough in size. Whoop, that one went crooked. It'll be all right. All right, where'd we go? So if I put that there, I will match these up. I just think it needs a little bit more on the front. I'm going to trim that down a little bit. So that it matches. We'll just fussy cut that a little bit where it wasn't quite cut the same. Sometimes when there's not a whole lot to hold on to, it makes it a little more challenging. But that's all right, we got it. Just put a little bit of glue here. That'll just give it a little bit more of a finished look. I think that is a good improvement. That looks a little bit more finished. And then let's see, this won't be quite enough to put on the back. So I'll cut another one of those. I'll add that to the back with our little pocket card. And there we go. I think that helps finish it off a little bit. We'll get some little short pens. We'll pretend that one's a little pen. And maybe fussy cut a couple of eggs. I need one more scallop, I guess. Let's put that away so that I don't lose it. And that's this one. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue in the middle. We'll leave the ends up a little bit. Oh, and I forgot I should have cut that straight. That's what I did on the front. Because it's slightly curved. But we'll be all right. Put a little bit more glue there. And then I think what I can do is just trim that straight so it doesn't look like it's misaligned. That ought to work. All right, so this little card can go back in there. And I think that scallop on the front makes it look a little bit cuter. And then let's just see if we did a stem. Now I think I'll stick with maybe fussy cutting some little eggs. So I think if we do the blue and an orange, we'll just put these up on dimensionals and we'll give it a little bit more interest. Luckily these have nice outline borders. I'm not even going to leave the white rim. And then we'll do the blue one. And then I think one more. We'll do that orange one. Oh, I don't have that one here. We could do the yellow one. The lemon lolly. Because I think I've used up all of my paper that has the eggs on it. So this is the last of what I have. And I don't have that egg. Yeah, that's kind of fun. All right, I'm going to call this one done now. We've got a few little eggs on there. We've got a little card in the back. And I used one of the sticky notes and I just put it on a piece of cardstock. And we put our little bunny from the Easter basket set and glued him to the inside. And get yourself some short little pens and it'll be perfect. All right. So here's what I used as my inspiration. I had a couple of these from years past. Cookie Cutter Christmas and a paper pumpkin set. And we turned it into spring and Easter. This one I still have to decorate. We'll see how that one ends up. Maybe I'll just put a circle on there with that. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. So thank you all for joining me. I'm going to call it a night finally. I know some of you bowed out and then came back, maybe it looks like. So thank you for hanging out with me tonight. I appreciate the company. Oh, and look, I just found another piece. So I'll be cutting out that Easter egg to go there because I think it needs that one more or two. Maybe we'll put that one too. Yeah, I'll have one for each season, right? Of course, these are kind of both. This could be summer. So this could be our spring, autumn, and we'll put Christmas over here. So the start of winter. What a great observation, Nicole. How about that? That one could go there. We'll see. All right. I am definitely going to call it a night now, so I don't have to sleep too late in the morning. I've got a lot of things to do, and we will be on the road. And stay tuned for Where in the World is Late Night Lori. So thanks again for joining me. Until next time, happy crafting. Lori from Minnesota. Hello and goodbye. If you're just popping in, we made some sticky note holders. So go back and watch from the beginning. Although, see if you can back it up now. I don't know if it'll still let you because it won't be published for another 24 hours. So you might have to come back tomorrow. Thanks for popping in. Catch the replay. And enjoy the rest of your weekend.